faced countless battles against extinction. From devastating asteroid impacts to sudden climate shifts, the fragile balance of survival has been tested time and again. But few moments stand out as sharply as the day when prehistoric events almost erased humanity's chance of ever existing. This is the story of how ancient catastrophes nearly ended the human story before it began, setting the prehistoric stage. Long before the first humans walked the Earth, prehistoric forces shaped the planet in ways that determined whether life would thrive or vanish. Volcanic supereruptions poisoned the air, shifting tectonic plates tore apart continents, and mass extinctions repeatedly swept across ecosystems. Each of these moments reset the clock of evolution. For our distant ancestors, tiny mammals clinging to survival in the shadows of giants, these events were nothing short of existential trials. The supervolcano threat. One of the greatest threats came not from space, but from beneath Earth's crust. Roughly 74,000 years ago, the Toba supervolcano in present-day Indonesia erupted with unimaginable force. Ash and toxic gases blanketed the skies, plunging the planet into a volcanic winter. Global temperatures dropped, crops failed before they even had a chance to grow. For early humans, already scattered in small, vulnerable groups, this was a test of survival. Some scientists believe that the eruption reduced the global human population to as few as a few thousand breeding individuals. In essence, the entire species teetered on the knife's edge of extinction. A few chance survivors, finding refuge in pockets of habitable land, ensured humanity's fragile continuity. The cosmic catastrophe, but supervolcanoes were not the only threats. Millions of years earlier, Earth had already been reshaped by a far greater disaster, the asteroid impact that ended the reign of the dinosaurs. While this event occurred long before humans existed, it directly influenced our very possibility of evolving. If dinosaurs had not been wiped out, mammals might never have risen to dominance. The asteroid impact carved the path that would one day allow early primates, and eventually humans, to flourish. Yet the same cosmic randomness reminds us that our survival has always been precarious. Even after escaping fire and cosmic impacts, humanity faced another trial, the deep freezes of the ice ages. Shifting glaciers locked away oceans, changing weather patterns and food availability. Early human species such as the Neanderthals and Denisovans disappeared, their legacies lingering only in fragments of DNA. Our species, Homo sapiens, narrowly avoided the same fate, surviving through ingenuity, adaptability, and cooperation. The Ice Ages became both a crucible and a proving ground for human resilience. Lessons from prehistory. Each of these prehistoric near-extinctions carried a message: survival is never guaranteed. Humanity exists not because of certainty, but because of chance, adaptation, and determination. Our species survived volcanic winters, shifting climates and cosmic accidents by the narrowest of margins. The fragile present today, our threats no longer come only from nature. Human activity has altered the planet in unprecedented ways. Climate change, biodiversity loss, and nuclear risks echo the same patterns of danger our ancestors once faced. The difference is that now, humanity itself has become both the victim and the perpetrator. The lessons of prehistory remind us that our survival is not permanent, and that vigilance, foresight, and respect for the Earth remain essential. Conclusion: on that fateful prehistoric day, and on many others like it, humanity almost ended before it began. Yet against all odds, life endured. Our story is one of resilience, but also of fragility. The prehistoric past teaches us that existence is not guaranteed, but earned through adaptation and awareness. The day prehistoric almost killed humans forever is not just a story of the past, it is a warning for the future. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take. And if you enjoyed this journey into the world of our ancient sisters, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration into human history. Not every prehistoric threat came with explosions or fire. Some came quietly, almost invisibly. Ancient pathogens, primitive viruses and bacteria once swept through populations of early hominins. For small bands of hunter-gatherers, a single outbreak could wipe out entire groups in weeks. Imagine surviving harsh winters and dangerous predators, only to face death from an unseen illness no one understood. Some scientists believe these early pandemics forced humans to adapt socially, learning to cooperate, share resources, and move quickly across landscapes to avoid total collapse. What do you think? Could disease, more than violence or climate, have been the greatest prehistoric killer? Share your thoughts in the comments. Fire. Humanity's double-edged sword. Fire was both salvation and danger. Mastering fire allowed early humans to cook food, scare predators, and survive the cold. But prehistoric wildfires, often sparked by lightning or volcanic activity, could spread uncontrollably across entire regions. For nomadic humans, a wildfire meant instant displacement, sometimes the loss of all shelter and food sources. Some anthropologists argue that fire, while saving humanity, also pushed populations into riskier environments where survival was constantly uncertain. The predator's shadow. Before humans dominated the food chain, they lived in constant fear of predators. Saber-toothed cats, giant hyenas, and massive crocodiles once stalked the same landscapes. For early humans, survival meant avoiding these hunters while still competing for the same prey. Every hunt was a risk. One wrong step in the tall grass, and an entire clan could be reduced by one more life. Over time, these constant threats shaped our brains, wiring us to anticipate danger, to collaborate, and to plan ahead. Fear became one of humanity's greatest survival tools. The battle for resources scarcity has always been one of humanity's greatest enemies. In prehistory, droughts, failed hunts, and shifting climates often left communities starving. This wasn't just about hunger, it was about survival of entire lineages. Competition for resources sometimes led to conflict between groups. Some scholars suggest that these early struggles for water and food shaped the roots of human cooperation, warfare, and even trade. Extinctions that cleared the path. Not every prehistoric disaster ended in destruction. Some cleared the way for humans to rise. When massive Ice Age animals, woolly mammoths, giant sloths, and saber-toothed cats began to vanish, ecological space opened up for humans. But these extinctions are controversial. Were they caused by climate change, or did early humans contribute by overhunting? If the latter is true, then humans themselves nearly disrupted the very balance that allowed them to survive. The hidden heroes of survival. Not all prehistoric survival was about brute strength. It was often about knowledge, passing down stories, skills, and traditions. The ability to remember where waterholes lay, when to migrate, or how to track animals may have been just as important as weapons or fire. This raises an important point. Survival wasn't only physical, it was cultural. Those who shared wisdom gave their people the edge over extinction. What's one piece of knowledge or wisdom in your culture that you think has survival value even today? Share it below, I'd love to read about it. A warning echo. The prehistoric past reminds us of something sobering. Extinction isn't just history, it's possibility. Humanity today is that many of our greatest threats are self-made. But if prehistory proves anything, it's that survival belongs to those who adapt, who learn, and who act before it's too late. What lesson do you think modern humanity should take from prehistory? Let's start a conversation in the comments. Prehistoric skies were far from stable. Solar storms, changes in Earth's magnetic field, and even cosmic radiation may have threatened early life. When the magnetic poles shifted or weakened, Earth's protective shield against harmful radiation thinned. For early humans with no shelters beyond caves and foliage, exposure could have damaged health and reduced survival rates. Do you think humanity could survive if Earth's magnetic shield weakened again? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Starvation in the Stone Age famine was a constant specter. Prehistoric diets depended heavily on seasonal plants, scarce game, and unpredictable weather. When one source collapsed, entire communities had to adapt or perish. Archaeological evidence shows that some groups resorted to eating insects, tree bark, or even bone marrow just to endure the lean times. Survival often depended on creativity and desperation. The struggle with the sea-rising oceans, violent tsunamis, and shifting shorelines forced humans to rethink survival strategies. Coastal populations faced sudden flooding, while inland groups were cut off from resources. The sea, both a giver of life and a bringer of destruction, demanded respect. Some of the earliest human migrations may have been sparked not by curiosity, but by desperation. Entire populations moving to escape the rising waters. The unknown extinctions. There are gaps in the fossil record. Entire human species that appeared, thrived for thousands of years, and then disappeared without clear explanation. From the mysterious Homo floresiensis to the shadowy Denisovans, countless relatives of modern humans were wiped away. Why did they vanish? Was it competition, climate, or something we have yet to uncover? Their disappearance reminds us how easily we too could have been erased. Natural disasters beyond imagination. Earthquakes tore through landscapes, reshaping entire valleys overnight. Mega tsunamis, from collapsing glaciers and underwater landslides, could swallow coastlines without warning. Unlike us, prehistoric humans had no warning systems, no technology, no escape routes. Entire clans could be wiped away in a single catastrophic moment, with no record left behind, except scattered bones and broken tools. If you had to choose, would you rather face fire, flood, or famine? Why? Let me know in the comments. The fragility of numbers. One of the greatest dangers because of a single massive event, but because of numbers too small to guarantee survival. Tools of survival. The Stone Age wasn't just an age of struggle, it was an age of innovation, born from desperation. The sharp edge of flint, the spear tipped with bone, the sling of woven fiber, these tools weren't luxuries. They were lifelines. Without them, humans would have been prey, not predator. Without them, survival would have been impossible. Tools turned fragility into strength. The bonds that saved us. When survival meant life or death, it wasn't the strongest who thrived, it was the most cooperative. Prehistoric humans built bonds through family, through tribe, through shared struggle. Those who learned to trust and share endured. Those who did not disappeared. Community wasn't optional, it was survival itself. The day that never ends. In many ways, the prehistoric struggle never truly ended. Every natural disaster, every epidemic, every resource crisis we face today is a shadow of those ancient trials. The difference is that now we have knowledge, technology, and the ability to prepare. But the prehistoric lesson is clear. Nature is always stronger, and survival guaranteed. What do you think is humanity's biggest threat today? And what lesson from prehistory should guide us in facing it? Let's start a conversation in the comments. Throughout Earth's long history, life has faced countless battles against extinction. From devastating asteroid impacts to sudden climate shifts, the fragile balance of survival has been tested time and again. But few moments stand out as sharply as the day when prehistoric events almost erased humanity's chance of ever existing. This is the story of how ancient catastrophes nearly ended the human story before it began, setting the prehistoric stage. Long before the first humans walked the Earth, prehistoric forces shaped the planet in ways that determined whether life would thrive or vanish. Volcanic super-eruptions poisoned the air, shifting tectonic plates tore apart continents, and mass extinctions repeatedly swept across ecosystems. Each of these moments reset the clock of evolution. For our distant ancestors, tiny mammals clinging to survival in the shadows of giants, these events were nothing short of existential trials. The supervolcano threat. One of the greatest threats came not from space, but from beneath Earth's crust. Roughly 74,000 years ago, the Toba supervolcano in present-day Indonesia erupted with unimaginable force. Toxic gases blanketed the skies, plunging the planet into a volcanic winter. Global temperatures dropped, crops failed before they even had a chance to grow. For early humans, Already scattered in small, vulnerable groups, this was a test of survival. Some scientists believe that the eruption reduced the global human population to as few as a few thousand breeding individuals. In essence, the entire species teetered on the knife's edge of extinction. A few chance survivors, finding refuge in pockets of habitable land, ensured humanity's fragile continuity. The cosmic catastrophe, but supervolcanoes were not the only threats. Millions of years earlier, Earth had already been reshaped by a far greater disaster, the asteroid impact that ended